Hello everybody, welcome to Nature's People. Today we're going to continue to part 2 on why is the brain so complex. This is pretty much a very interesting topic, I would say, because who doesn't like interesting stuffs? So basically today I'm going to break down for you all why is the complexity of the brain so mind-boggling and puzzling for most physicians and doctors out there, and for general neuroscientists and psychiatrists and all that. So, well, this is part 2. If you didn't watch part 1, please go check it out. It's a very interesting video. I hope you guys will be able to learn a lot, and I'm also learning with y'all. And as for now, I'm going to I have a remark prior to diving into the video, which is guys, please bear with me. The quality of my videos isn't that great. I'm still working on that. I've just started like posting on YouTube. I'm going to make really great content. I'm working on getting a lot of equipment to make the quality of my videos way much better. So please bear with me and be patient, okay? So now getting into the brain. In the previous video I mentioned that the brain is so complex that if we were to put things in perspective, for example, for instance, if the complexity of the universe, which is something so huge and deemed infinite in terms of size, the brain is way much complex, way more complex. And I give an exemplary statement saying that if the complexity of the brain, if the complexity of the universe was a golf ball or a ball in a stadium, the brain's complexity would be the entire stadium. Imagine how, by what factor is the stadium larger than the ball? I don't know, probably hundreds of thousands. Anyways, and now what I'm going to do is to say the brain, the human genome, which is the DNA, has very specific and highly categorized coding, which reserves the integrity of particular cells and cell types. In the brain there are a lot of cell types. So we have glial cells, we have neurons. Those are the basic type of cells. Don't mind my pronunciation. I often say neurons, whereas most in North American English is neurons, but it doesn't matter anyways. So we have a neuron. So a neuron is a type of cell that is very energy demanding and consuming. In the prior and early development stage of the human brain, babies or new infants tend to consume a lot of energy. It's so much so that an infant in his first months of life consumes 70% of all the energy that is supplied to the body solely to the brain, just for the brain. And why is that? Is because babies have a lot of neurons in their brains, and the brain is sort of downloading all the external factors and trying to be very efficient. You guys might be saying, oh, this guy is taking us up and down with these conversations about the brain. We want him to explain why is the brain so complex. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm trying to break down piece by piece so that you guys have an insight on why that works, on how it works. Now, in the prior stages of life, where the baby is downloading all this information, temperature, color, smell, taste, emotions, grief, anger, fear, all these systems are being encoded in a type of way which is through signaling, and this signaling is through synapses, and synapses are through a sort of electrical impulses. And these impulses are very energy consuming. Now, The brain, for those of you guys who do not know, has a lot of cells. These neurons and glial cells I've mentioned a lot. There's so many, ranging between 85 to 100 billion neurons. Just to put that in perspective, the universe, in our Milky Way galaxy, we have a lot of stars. But the brain has more neurons than the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And one more interesting fact: if you are to single out each neuron and strand them out in a single line, you could go around the Earth twice. Imagine how big the Earth, guys. I think the radius of the Earth is somewhere around 6.5 thousand kilometers. So the circumference would be probably 12,000 kilometers. So we're talking about 24,000 kilometers of length of neurons. And the circulatory system of the brain, it's also very large. It would span, like if you were to take each and every artery, vein and capillary and to strand them out, it would go beyond 600 kilometers. Now, why am I mentioning all these basic facts? It's because having an insight of the brain, it's so difficult that we have to have these minor interesting facts so that we break them down and then we build them back up, we assemble them, and we build a beautiful picture on a basic and rough and sort of brief understanding on how the brain works. Now, all these neurons I've mentioned that are like 85 to 100 billion, each neuron, so here's where the complexity comes into mind or into place. Each neuron has something called dendrites, right, and axons. So these dendrites, what they do, they have a small connection with another neurons. So surprisingly, the neurons can have between a few to a few hundred up to 10,000 dendrite terminals. So these terminals are connected to other neurons. You see how where the complexity gets under. So we already have about 100 or like 80 or 90 billion neurons, and then these billion neurons are having connections that just exponentially skyrocket the number of impulses, of messages, of information that can be transferred. And one interesting thing about the brain is that in these connections, what actually happens through a medium called neurotransmitter. So a neurotransmitter, for those of you guys who do not know, a neurotransmitter, it's a molecule that sort of changes the voltage or like the intensity of the charge or the electrical charge that passes through the neuron. And depending on the intensity or the voltage or the capacity or the strength of that electrical signaling, the message, the emotion, if an information is being transferred, say for instance about a memory, about an event, the higher the voltage. Say for instance, you remember when you were young and you're playing in the grass, a grass like this, the higher the voltage, the more deeper the experience, the deeper the emotion, the deeper the effect. That's why certain people, when they go through psychedelic events, the psilocybin or the methyltryptamine called DMT, often it's so powerful on the brain signaling and connective system that it sort of takes that into an imbalance, and the person goes deep into various high intensity electrical signalings in various cortexes of the brain. Now, I know this is boring, like looking at this park and all, but guys, just bear with me. I'm going to bring good quality videos. I just want to be informative. I want to share my knowledge. I want people to be enlightened, just like I like to do. So please bear with me. Now following up with the system. So these these neuronal connections where are having various types of impulses through them, through the thing that I mentioned prior, which was called neurotransmitters, which affect or influence the amount of charge that is passing through each individual neuron. So when you start breaking this thing down, we're trying to sort of understand how these signalings are made. Scientists recently have come with something called fMRI. I'm definitely sure or confident that you guys know what an MRI is, not an fMRI. An MRI with MRI, probably for those who do not know, it's a magnetic resonance imaging, which is does oh my god. Okay, magnetic resonance imaging, which is it's my god. All right, I'll edit this video later on, but guys, bear with me. Sorry. Magnetic resonance imaging. It's a way of mapping the brain and the brain cells in very high resolution and well detailed standards. Say for instance, with this magnetic resonance imaging, you can zoom out into the tiniest and smallest neuron, which would be thousands of times smaller than, say, a leaf or any molecule out there. So guys, I'm just doing my stuff, man. I don't care. So alright, this video ends here for now. I'm going to record something else. Bye. I'm done.